Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video I'll be taking a look at Ferrothorn as a very strong lead for the Color Cup and Go Battle League. It's weak to fire and flying, so I've chosen to pair it with first of all Toxapex because I think those two make a very good core, and also Shadow Charizard because I was seeing a lot of people lead Toxapex and use Trevenant as a safe swap, and I think it's very difficult to deal with the Trevenant safe swap, and Charizard is one of the only quite good options for that job. I think you can run either Thunder or Flash Cannon on Ferrothorn. If you see a lot of flyers, probably go Thunder. I chose to go Flash Cannon, and it has come in clutch quite a couple of times, so I think it is the better move in general. Going into the first game, we lead into a Shadow Venusaur. This is a good matchup for Ferrothorn because Ferrothorn walls Venusaur. Like even Poison is double resisted by Steel, so even though it's good against Grass, it's still resisted. So they go 2 over, throw the Sludge Bomb, throw another Bullet Seed, go for the Flash Cannon. This does so much. Look at this damage. Boom! But we can't Bullet Seed down Venusaur. They go for a Sludge Bomb immediately. So they're 6 or 7, 6 away from a Frenzy Plant. So I go up to the Flash Cannon, swap out, and farm them down with Toxapex. Save all the energy in the back. And then they bring in a Toxapex. Very exciting matchup. Not really. I go 2 over because I want to see who wins CMP. I rarely win CMP with my Toxapex because I have 0 attack, but it's just good to get that information. Then we throw Sludge Wave. Farm up again. They throw another one. And I thought it would take 8 Poison Jabs to get to a Brine after 2 Sludge Waves, but after you've thrown 2 Sludge Waves, it only takes 7. So I tried to wait a turn, then swap in my Ferrothorn to CMP sack them, but then it only took 7, so they just got it off instead. I don't want to spend my energy on such a low Toxapex, so I'd rather save the energy on my Toxapex, which is why I swap out to Charizard. Now I have energy on all 3 of my Pokemon, and they bring in a Dugong, and always bait the Dugong the first time because they want to debuff you. I really would not recommend running Dugong in this meta because there are just Toxapex everywhere, and it's so rough to be walled by Toxapex in this meta, I feel. They go for another Icy Wind. I shield it, and I'm thinking I might be able to get out. 1 Blast Burn is not enough to take them out. So I would rather save the energy on Charizard than spend 1 Power Whip instead, because I would still have to spend some energy in like somewhere else, even if I get off the Blast Burn. So only having to spend 1 charge move from Ferrothorn is a lot better. Although it might not be very necessary in this game, because I just have 3 Pokemon and a lot of energy all over the place, but good to know for later, like for other games. Next game we lead into a Zapdos. This is a bit of a core breaker. You kind of have to stay in actually. But you do also threaten the Zapdos because Ferrothorn can run Thunder, and Zapdos is so frail it really does not want to take a Thunder. So it kind of has to shield, which is why I go for the Power Whip. We grab the shield, and they throw immediately. So I'm okay with just grabbing a shield advantage, then seeing what we can do. They're not expecting the Charizard to come in, obviously, onto their electric type, so they just bring in Trevenant immediately, and I'm just like, yep, thank you. I'm just gonna take this out, move on. I could have over-farmed, like shielded once, and just over-farmed a lot. That might have been a better play, because now I have no energy, and they're gonna bring in Zapdos again. I know Zapdos wins CMP, so I try to catch the Drill Peck on my Toxapex unsuccessfully, so now they have a lot of energy, which is actually really bad. So they throw a Thunderbolt, which is gonna do so much, and they get to another one, or so I thought at least. I think they got to Thunderbolt. I don't know why they're throwing a Drill Peck, but they do. And then they bring in a Ferrothorn. Yikes. This thing just walls Toxapex, which is why I think it's so good in the lead, because you face so many Toxapex in the lead. Oh, they go up to 7 Bullet Seeds, meaning they're 2 over the Thunder, and then they throw the Thunder. I assume. Yep, Thunder. So they're 3 away. So I try to go up right before CMP sack them. No, the Bullet Seed goes through. They don't throw. which is really rough. But they actually end up throwing their thunder immediately anyways, so they only have one bullet seed's worth of energy at this point, meaning we might be able to outpace them, which we can. So we actually take out the Ferrothorn with Toxapex. This is why Toxapex is so good. Like, even though it's walled by Ferrothorn, it still takes out the Ferrothorn. It did need some help, but still, it is capable of it. Next game, we lead into a Shadow Luxray. Very cool. It's running Snarl. It takes 4 Snarls for the first Crunch or Wild Charge, and then 3, then 4, then 3. So I go up to right before they get to the second one. Throw the Power Whip. And I'm not sure if they would just over farming or like didn't know the counts for Ferrothorn, but they let me get to another Power Whip. And like Luxray is so frail, it has to shield these. So yeah, they over farm. They come out with 2 moves. I'm thinking either I have to shield twice and then get off my Power Whip, or just not at all. But then they farm up to 2 moves again. This is really I don't want to spend 2 shields on my Toxapex. And I'm thinking maybe my Charizard is really good in the back when they lead an electric type, which does make a lot of sense. So I actually just saved 2 shields for Charizard. They let me farm down their Luxray, come up with some energy, and then they bring in a Swampert. And up shield, Charizard is not afraid of Swampert. They try to catch, I assume they try to catch a Dragon Claw on their Bomber Snow, but I just overfarm to right before they get to a Weather Ball, throw the Blast Burn, boom! Throw another Blast Burn. This is not very effective, but look at this damage. Boom! Charizard doing Charizard things. You love to see it. Next game, we lead into another core breaker, Galvantula. But the thing is, if Galvantula wants to get off a lunge before you get off a Power Whip, it has to throw in very awkward timing, as you saw there. So I get off an entire Bullet Seed, and now we can. You want to throw 1 Bullet Seed before every move when you're Ferrothorn, because it's 3 turns on Bullet Seed, then 4 turns on Volt Switch. But at this point, I throw after 2 because I want to get it off before they get to their next move, and they throw immediately again. And this is not going to take me out. If I let them farm me down here, they're going to come out with enough energy to get to a move. So I decide to swap out, thinking there's probably not another electric type in the back. But there is, and it's the worst one to see. Lantern. Yikes. And I actually decide to shield here. I have to pull out some magic or get lucky or have the opponent make a mistake. So I go up for another CMP tie, just hoping that the opponent has miscounted, because I really need the shield, and they have. And I notice they have been throwing all their moves immediately, and it takes 5 for every Surf, 7 for every Thunderbolt. So I'm thinking they're probably going to throw immediately again here. So I choose to sack my Ferrothorn on the Thunderbolt. Very nice. And then they bring in their Galvantula, which very weird play because it had no HP. They were probably trying to bring in their Mantine. You could argue I should bait here because Mantine always shields the first one, but it's such a risky bait. Like, imagine if they no shielded the Brine. Then they just start bubble beaming me. Yay. Fun. Again, I really would not recommend running a Pokemon that gets walled by Toxapex, because just look, even though it gets off all these debuffs, it's still so rough for the Mantine. It just can't do any damage. I go up to right before they get to the next one just to try and throw them off counts, as I always do, and I would always recommend you do. They go for another Bubble Beam. Very important detail, the Lantern is dry in the back, it has no energy, so it's gonna take 10 sparks for it to get to 2 Surfs, and it takes 10 Poison Jabs for me to get to 1 Sludge Wave, but I'm gonna get in a Poison Jab when they throw one of their Surfs, so I am going to outpace to a Sludge Wave before they get to 2 moves at this point. I don't need to risk anything, just go up to the Sludge Wave. This is why it's so good to always be aware of how much energy the opponent has. I don't need to even think about throwing the Brine, which would have been very awkward, because even though the Lantern was so low, I was so debuffed. Brine is such a bad move. Next game, we lead into a Swampert. Nice. They swap into a Shiftry. The reason why I swap in my Toxapex is because Charizard has to shield the moves from Shiftry, because one foul play would KO. And Toxapex can just, if you put it in quick enough, it can just farm the Shiftry down without spending a shield. It does come out in a pretty awkward health range though, which is not nice, because now the Swampert can farm me down. But I do also get off 2 moves. So we get off 1 Brine. And fun fact here as well, I go for another Brine, because I thought that was more damage. Brine is more energy efficient when Sludge Wave is resisted, but if you only get to 1 move, Sludge Wave actually does more damage than Brine. They go up, they throw a move, they have a lot of energy at this point. Go for a bait, which, I mean, I was never going to shield that, I don't think. Then they go for an Earthquake. They have a lot of energy. And at this point, very, very, very good detail. Did you see that? Let me just rewind. They go for the Earthquake. Look at the Swampert's health. It's gonna swap out. It has no energy, it has no health, it's gonna swap out immediately. He let Swampert, meaning he is not gonna be weak to Ferrothorn at the back. That would not make sense. Most teams make some sort of sense. Like, statistically, sometimes they're gonna have an asshole in the back. Yes, that happens. But most teams make sense. My Ferrothorn is not gonna be what's good here. Like, look, I have no health too. My Ferrothorn is not going to be what's good against whatever is in the back. My Charizard is going to want to be what wins me this game. So instead of staying in to see what comes in, Charizard doesn't like being down energy a lot of the time. I swap out immediately. Just without even thinking about it. Because even if the Swampert stays in, I can just farm it down with Charizard because it has no energy too. And it's so huge that I do that because it's a Charizard in the back. If the Charizard got like even 1 wing attack's advantage, I would lose this game. But because we swap in immediately, it comes down to who wins CMP. And look at my Charizard's IVs. I win CMP. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Because most regular Charizards are very good because it has had a community day. Very, very huge. Go up to 1 before they get to the next one. Throw my Dragon Claw. The switch timer is not up, so I can just throw the last one, and we win CMP again. Awesome. We take out the Charizard, and then we farm down the Swampert. Or my opponent quits. Next game, we lead into a Lantern. And they swap in Toxapex. This is one of the reasons why Ferrothorn is so good. I had a couple of these battles, like, just core breaking the living hell out of the opponent. I want to throw a Power Whip and then swap into my own Toxapex. I want to like do just a little bit of damage to the Toxapex to make sure I can win switch, but then they shield it. So I have to go up to another one, I feel. Throw that, but now our switch timers are just very misaligned, which is not great. Swap in my own Toxapex. Because I want to save the Ferrothorn for Lantern. The 2 Pokemon in the back that I have do not want to see Lantern. They throw a Sludge Wave, and they swap out into Lantern again. And I'm thinking they're they're over farming now. So I'm thinking they're probably gonna try and CMP time me, which I won't allow. So I go 1 over, and then I'm like, oh, they're not CMP tying me. So I'm just gonna throw, and then they actually do CMP time me 1 over my Sludge Wave. Don't assume that people know that counts, is my advice, I guess. Because apparently he didn't. They go for a Thunderbolt on my Ferrothorn. He's 4 away, so I go up 2 more Bullet Seeds. Then throw the wait a turn, then throw the Power Whip, take out the Lantern. Then swap in my Charizard onto their Trevenant. Over farm, because a Dragon Claw is not enough to KO from that range anyways. They bait me. A Seed Bomb does a lot of damage, so I don't actually want to take it, which is why I CMP tire them on the 5th Shadow Claw, which is only enough to get off the Seed Bomb. And they shield it. And I'm thinking the Toxapex is quite low, so 1 Blast Burn, even though it's resisted, should be enough to take it out. And like, it doesn't have that much health, the Toxapex. Come on, this should be enough, right? No. Wait, what? It lives. It gets off a move. Have I just thrown away this game? No, because I can just Bullet Seed it down, come out with a Power Whip for the Trevenant, and we get it off, even though this is resisted. Trevenant is quite frail. And we take it out. That was the last battle for today, and overall I think this is a pretty strong team. Ferrothorn does pick up a lot of good leads. and you do win most of the games where you pick up good leads. It does have its limitations though, as in it has quite a lot of core breakers and Zapdos, Galvantula, and I even ran into a safe swap Charger bug, which I just had no play against. And if you run into the wrong things, you kind of don't really have any play, and you just kind of get RPS'd, which I don't really like. You do win more than you lose, but it's not the most fun. Um, the best team in this meta is definitely Trevor and Toxapex core. If you want to see me play that core, like me specifically, not just all the other content creators who have already made videos about it, let me know in the comments and I will do that. Otherwise, I will probably make some more Open Great League content. Also, let me know if you want to watch more Open Great League content. Fun fact of the day, Ferrothorn beats a Bomber Snow straight flash cannon in the 0 and 1 shield. This is one thing I wasn't aware of before I looked it up. It's kind of fun that you can do this. I didn't think that would be possible. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.